portrayed. The dispatcher.
It's coming from right over there, said Fodak. Let's go see. Go see, chittered Hank. Why?
Will everyone please be quiet?
Roared George in his biggest voice.
I am trying to work.
Well, the big harbor went as silent as a seashell.
If a tugboat breaks the rules, I'm afraid I have to put a red mark beside their name.
But the strangest thing of all was that the ship seemed to be floating in the air above the water. And it seemed to be calling to him. "Ghost!" cried George. "Ghost!" And he turned and headed for home as fast as his engine would take him.
He was determined to make friends with the new tug. But Oliver gave Theodore a great big bump from the back. It took his breath away with a whoosh.
"All right," said Fodak, showing the first signal flag. "What does this flag mean? Emily?"
That flag means... Emily paused, thinking. I am leaving for the ocean.
"Right," said Fodak. "It does mean I am leaving for the ocean."
I wish I was leaving,
said George. He was trying to make a joke.
Don't forget, once I was the fastest ship on the ocean.
Oh, an oil rig is a great big thing, and he loves his great big sprockets. He's tall as the moon and good looking too. Now, what rhymes with sprockets?
The golden morning light glinted off her 1,001 windows and seemed to make her sparkle like a great diamond. The boats were all sleeping peacefully at the great ocean dock when Northumberland popped up.
Hi, big scary shape.
Yawned Hank, who thought he was dreaming.
Big scary shape.
Honked Hank, suddenly extra wide awake. "Theodore!" Theodore was so startled he blew his whistle. And that woke up all the other tugs and most of the harbor.
"What's going on here, tugboats?"
said the dispatcher sleepily.
Big scary shape,
sputtered Hank.
"There."
That's Northumberland's submarine,
frowned George.
"Hello, Carla,"
said Fodak.
"4 ducks,"
said Carla.
"Okay. Quack, 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 quack." I don't find that funny.
It was a bullfrog.
And from the water came a sea monster. A sea monster roared up from the dampy deep. Oh, it had bugly eyes and big batty wings to carry a tug down to its sea monster lair, far, far beneath the waves. The first fingers of sunlight fell upon the sleeping tugs and tickled them awake. They opened their eyes and saw a most surprising sight.
"Hank," said Petra, "you better go to the repair yard to see if you're all right."
I was hoping it was Fodak or anyone else. Anyone but... Halliburton! He's haunted, he's scary, I'm afraid.
Sure, other tugs had bumped him before, but it was always meant to be fun. This bump really hurt.
You gonna cry now?
Said Oliver in a laughing voice. Theodore tried to make a brave face.
No.
He finally managed to say. But inside he was still shaking. And that's when Oliver backed up and bumped him again. Even harder this time. Ow! Theodore couldn't help but cry out loud. He gathered his courage and turned towards the bigger tug.
Don't do that. I don't like it.
Well, Oliver backed up as if he was going to give Theodore another bump.
He said he doesn't like that.
It was George. He'd been watching the whole thing.
Leave my friend alone,
shouted George. Oliver kept on staring straight at Theodore, as if George wasn't even there.
I guess a little tug like you needs other tugs to fight for him,
he said in a voice that made Theodore feel very, very small.
We don't need you at all in this harbor,
rumbled George.
I can move Owen as well as you can. Why don't you just go home?
Theodore gasped out loud, and it woke up Emily.
Sea monster, shivered Theodore. It had bugly eyes and batty wings and oh.
Theodore decided to tell Guysborough a joke to try and, make him feel better. Guysborough, what did the big fish say to the little fish?
You're rubbing my bumpers the wrong way,
Grunted Guysborough. No, that's not the answer, said Theodore.
Look, it's a rotten day. I've a rotten job, and I'm in a rotten mood. So please, be quiet and do your rotten job.
Well, it suddenly seemed to Theodore that the whole world was wearing a great big frown. Emily and George were just passing by with a big ship. They smiled and whistled to Theodore and Guysborough to say, "Hello, nice to see you." Guysborough let out a foul, frowny sound with his whistle and said,
Oh, no. Nice to leave you.
Theodore's whistle said,
Oh, it's a rotten day, and I'm taking a grump to the dump.
"Well, they didn't sound happy to see us."
2,000 years later.
As they made their way along, they snarled and snapped and hooted and honked their horns at each other as if to say, "It's a rotten day, so stay out of my rotten way."
Help! cried George. Help! My lifeboat's on fire! My lifeboat's on fire! Maybe it's because I'm different. Or maybe because I'm old. Early the next morning, the dispatcher sent Oliver, the ocean tug, back home. Said Emily.
Most of it extremely stinky and steamy.
Theodore went farther away and used his radio again. Can you hear me now? Loud and clear, Blue Nose said into her radio.
Everyone, please stay in line.
The strangest thing happened next. Photo turned around and began spraying Theodore backwards. Hank could hardly wait. He turned around in a flash to see the amazing creature. But what he saw didn't look amazing at all. Well, that's just a big pile of seaweed, he said. 1, 2, 3, make way for me, shouted Theodore, and he scooted by Blue Nose. Just then the wind puffed up just a little bit, and Blue Nose suddenly pulled away from Theodore so fast it made him look like he was standing still. What? My new radio makes too much noise, she said to Theodore. Sailing ships are supposed to be as silent as a sea breeze. As long as you've got sails, she said, you can always get somewhere.
I know how to go into harbors by myself,
snorted Cabot. But you can't dock yourself, continued Theodore. It's not safe.
Well, I'm bigger than you,
interrupted Cabot.
and you can't stop me.
Cabot made a sharp turn and roared right past Theodore. Then, disaster. The big pile of junk and the old crane right beside it toppled over right on Sigrid's deck. Emily floated over and saw that the brightly marked thing was really a rocket. What was that? Said Hank. That, said Theodore in amazement, was a shooting star. He roared over and bumped Theodore. Lights, said Theodore. Thousands and thousands of lights. And I'm hungry. Well, thanks for dropping by. We'll see you again next time here in the Big Harbor. Let me see what I've got. I got a banana and an apple. What's this? Well, replied Rebecca after she had thought about it. Sometimes we think we see monsters, but they turn out to be funny kinds of fish. Our research shows that our harbor is sea monster free.
Hello, Bumper Bum.
He's just like a puppy,
Said Hank, laughing.
The biggest puppy I've ever seen.
Added Fodak.
It's like trying to stop a mountain,
Gasped Fodak.
with their engines almost boiling over. The tugs put every last bit of puff into their pull to try and stop Owen.
With all the bouncing around, Theodore felt kind of woozy. The way you do when you've been on a swing too long.
Theodore,
Said George.
please tell Emily to watch where she is going.
But before Theodore could speak, Emily jumped in.
Theodore?
She said. Theodore rushed to Emily.
Please tell George, the official complainer, that he is supposed to button on the front.
Don't need no little tugs to move me, said Tex. I can do that just fine myself.
Fodak turned, aimed, and whoosh, sprayed. Theodore quickly slipped away. Later, Hank appeared. He stared at Theodore's sea monster trap, because it certainly looked very impressive.
What will you do when you catch the sea monster?
The dispatcher turned for arrest. He even hung up a special sign telling everyone that he was not to be disturbed.
Oh, moaned Theodore. Oh, I don't feel well.
Said Philip.
Well,
Finished Fillmore.